everyone, my name is Juhi and today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a vegan chocolate and caramel tart. So first I'm going to show you how to make the sablé for the chocolate tart. So the ingredients for the sablé, we have almond powder, icing sugar, flour, cocoa powder, shortening, water and salt. So first we're going to start by adding the shortening. And the icing sugar together, and we're going to cream it till the icing sugar completely dissolves into the shortening. Here I have a stand mixer. I'm going to start mixing the shortening and the icing sugar at medium speed till the time it completely incorporates the sugar. The next ingredients that are going to go in are the flour, almond powder, cocoa powder and the salt. So I'm just going to mix all the dry ingredients together. My sugar has completely dissolved. Okay, it's going to become creamy. I'm going to start adding my dry ingredients. The flour, almond powder, icing sugar and salt. I'm going to mix till I get a sandy texture. Just make sure all the shortening gets mixed into the flour. Okay, now that I've achieved a sandy texture, I'm going to add the water and mix just to combine the dough. Once the dough is combined, I'm going to stop mixing and remove the dough onto the parchment paper. I'm just going to mix the dough just to make sure all the shortening is combined. Once my dough is combined, I'm going to sheet this to a thickness of 2 millimeters before we rest the dough. Now that my dough is sheeted at 2 millimeters, I'm going to rest it in the refrigerator for about 2 to 3 hours so that the gluten can relax and it won't shrink in the oven when we are baking it. Once our sheet is rested, now we are going to start cutting them and lining our tart rings. So I'm going to start cutting strips for my sheet. I'm going to cut about 23 centimeters. Once my strips are cut, I will one by one start lining my tarts. Okay, so I pick up one strip and then I'm going to start lining the edges of the tart. Make sure that you're pressing the dough to all the corners. The excess we just trim off. Don't work with the dough if it's too soft because it will not give you a good shape of the tart. Now that the strips on the tart are frozen, I'm going to start trimming them and then press it into the dough to line the bottom of the tart. Just trim the top and then place the ring on top of the sheet and press it into the dough. And then just remove it from the sheet. Before you trim it, make sure your dough is absolutely frozen so that it doesn't de-shape while you're cutting it. So while the tarts are freezing, we're going to make the ganache for the tart, which we're going to pipe on top of the tart. So here for the ingredients we have vegan dark chocolate, non-dairy cream, liquid glucose and grapeseed oil. I'm going to add my chocolate into a liter jar with the grapeseed oil. Next, I'm going to bring my cream and glucose. Bring it to a boil and then pour it over the chocolate and the oil. There are many options that you can use in non-dairy cream. Here I am using a non-dairy sweetened soy-based cream to make the ganache. Now that my cream has come to a boil, I am going to pour it over my chocolate and then I am going to blend to emulsify it. Now that my ganache is blended and well emulsified, I am going to keep it aside for it to cool down till it's ready to pipe on the tart. Now that the tarts are frozen completely, I am going to put them in the oven at about 150 degrees and bake them for 30 minutes. Okay, the first 15 minutes is going to be with the vent in so that the tarts can bake, and the last 15 minutes is going to be with the vent out so that the tarts can dry out completely. If you don't have the option of the vent in your oven, what you can do is for removing the vent, you can open the door of the oven a little bit and stick a cloth inside so that the excess moisture can come out of the oven. Now I'm going to show you how to make the caramel, which is going to be the filling inside the tart. We have cream, we have liquid glucose and sugar. We're going to make a caramel with the sugar and the liquid glucose, and then we're going to deglaze it with the cream. Before we start, here I have some roasted chopped peanuts which I'm going to put inside the tart, which is going to add some crunch to the tart. They are roughly chopped roasted peanuts. To start making the caramel, I'm going to take my sugar and liquid glucose into the pan, and I'm going to start heating it. I won't stir it too much. I'll just wait for the sugar to caramelize before I deglaze it with the cream. Without stirring my sugar too much, I'm just going to bring it to the center of the pan so that it doesn't start burning and starts caramelizing evenly. Now that my sugar started caramelizing, I'll just mix so that it evenly caramelizes and no part of the caramel burns. Once my sugar has caramelized evenly, I'm going to deglaze it with warm cream, slowly adding the cream in batches. So once all my cream has been added, I'm going to cook the caramel till it thickens up a little bit. It will take about a minute or two. So we keep cooking it till the time it thickens up a little bit. Now that my caramel has thickened up a little bit, I've switched the heat off and I'm going to pour the caramel into my tart shell. After pouring the caramel into the shells, I'm going to refrigerate it so that the caramel can rest and thicken up, and then over this we will pipe the ganache for the presentation of the tart. So now that my caramel has cooled down, it's ready to be piped to the ganache on top. So here I have the ganache that we made in a piping bag, and I've cut the tip into a triangle. Now I'm going to start piping the ganache on top of the tart. Now that the ganache is piped on the tart, I will just garnish it with a few chocolate flakes and gold leaf on the top.